He almost left. He almost said it. He almost became the person he knew he was supposed to be, but almost became his entire personality. And nobody noticed. From the outside, he looked responsible, measured, thoughtful, safe. He never made reckless decisions, never embarrassed himself publicly, never risked too much. He lived in the space between intention and action. And over time, that space became permanent. What nobody saw was the quiet exhaustion of living in preparation mode, always preparing, never beginning. Something in his life had paused years ago, but he couldn't remember when. Pause for a second. Have you ever delayed something important, not because you were incapable, but because you were waiting to feel ready? Don't answer out loud. Just notice what came to mind. He wasn't lazy. That's what made it harder to detect. He worked hard. He researched deeply. He analyzed every possible outcome. If he wanted to change careers, he read books first. If he wanted to confess his feelings, he rehearsed conversations in his head. If he wanted to start something meaningful, he designed the perfect plan. The plans were beautiful, perfectly structured, impressively detailed, untouched. He told himself he was being strategic, but what he was really doing was protecting himself from visible failure. Because almost doesn't hurt. Trying and failing does. He almost applied. He almost called her. He almost moved cities. He almost started the channel. He almost invested in himself. And every year, the sentence stayed the same. Almost. The strange thing? People praised him. You're smart. You think things through. You're not impulsive like others. They mistook hesitation for wisdom, and he accepted the compliment, because it made the delay feel justified. One evening, he found an old notebook. Inside were ideas dated 5 years earlier. 5 years. The same dreams. The same outlines. The same cautious optimism. He felt something uncomfortable rising in his chest. Not regret. Recognition. He hadn't been cautious. He had been afraid of irreversibility. Because once you act, you can't return to potential. And potential is addictive. Potential keeps your identity flexible. You're not a failed entrepreneur, you're a future one. You're not rejected, you're just waiting. You're not average, you're just not started yet. Potential protects ego. Reality tests it. That night, he understood something that unsettled him deeply. He wasn't afraid of failing. He was afraid of becoming definite. Definite means visible. Definite means accountable. Definite means you can no longer blame timing. And that realization hit harder than any rejection could have. Silence. Here's the truth he didn't want to admit. Almost is not humility. It's a shield. He believed staying unfinished kept him safe. But unfinished things don't stay neutral. They decay. Dreams delayed too long turn into quiet resentment. And resentment, when aimed at yourself, becomes identity. He had slowly become the man who almost does things. And that identity was heavier than failure. Because failure at least means you moved. He hadn't moved. He had hovered. And hovering feels stable, until you realize you've been suspended above your own life. This wasn't about ambition anymore. It was about courage. Not loud courage. Not dramatic risk. Just the quiet decision to allow yourself to be seen trying. Because the moment you act, you trade potential for proof. And proof, even imperfect proof, is freedom. The next morning, nothing dramatic happened. No life-altering speech. No overnight transformation. He just removed one word from his vocabulary. Almost. He sent the message. Not perfectly written. He submitted the application. Not fully optimized. He began. Not fully ready. And something subtle shifted. He felt exposed, but lighter. Some stories remain unfinished because life interrupted them. Others remain unfinished because fear disguised itself as preparation. The difference is honesty. And if this reached you at the right time, you already know which one yours is.